Welcome to a brand new episode of Yell in Bed. I am here with my good friend, Hannah Levien. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me in your bedroom.
Thank you for joining me in my bedroom.
It's a very comfy bed in case y'all were wondering.
Thank you. I also made it today.
You did a good job of that.
Thanks.
That's one thing I always do is make my bed.
Oh, really?
My room can be as messy as all get out, but I do make my bed pretty much every day.
I think making the bed makes the room feel clean.
It's like a tiny bit of order in chaos.
I love it. Let's talk a little bit about Siren, which just ended its first season. We're getting a second season, and we know that Janine and Calvin are gonna be something.
Something, yes.
They're gonna be something.
Well, that's right. So, yes, I play the role of Janine in Freeform's new series, Siren. We just finished our first season on Thursday night, which was very exciting and a bit emotional for everyone. We lost a few really wonderful characters in the show. And it also left for my character a little bit of a cliffhanger in the sense that my boyfriend Calvin and our relationship has kind of grown throughout the season. It's gone from being a little bit of a hookup thing to he, in this episode, was wanting to buy me a necklace. He wanted me to move in with him and Xander. It was getting a bit more serious. And then I let loose to Calvin the fact that Xander and I have actually hooked up in the past. Calvin was very upset about it and quit working on the boat with Xander, which meant he was broke, and then wanted to get a place with me to live together. And I basically say, well, if we're going to live together, you're going to have to make some money somehow. So, maybe we need to think about that.
I love that Janine was like, I'm not taking care of you.
I know, Janine is so just like, this is how it's going to be. Like, you know what I mean? Just like laying it down. But she's been like that the whole way through the show. I think in the bits that we've seen her in, she's, pretty forthright, assertive woman, which is super fun to play. And as anyone watching would know, if you do watch Siren, there's a lot of female characters in the show like that. So that's very cool to be a part of.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit also about another role that you've played, Victoria on The Magicians. So I would like to know, I'm going to get real comfy now.
I know you're a big Magicians fan.
I'm a big Magicians fan. I want to talk about the scene on the Mirror Bridge.
Okay, yeah.
Because that was such a powerful scene and such a moving scene and so much emotion. What was it like shooting that?
Oh man, I mean, I knew going into that day that it was going to be, like, I think on the schedule it looked like at least a 14-hour day. I mean, the amount of shots and action that was going to be going on in that whole sequence was super detailed because there were a lot of visual effects, which are effects that are made after the material is shot, filmed. And then there were also special effects, which are things that happen on set during the filming. So with both of those elements at play, I was like, this is going to be a long day. And then I was also in basically every scene and, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park. I was bleeding to death. Next shot, Victoria keeps bleeding. Next shot, Victoria bleeding more. Harriet appears, everyone leaves. Like, it was just not a happy day for Victoria. But it was a super, super cool set. When the whole cast arrived, we were shooting some other stuff in this big warehouse in downtown Vancouver, which is where the series is filmed. And we all kind of snuck out of the little part of the set and went next door where the whole Mirror Bridge had been created. And it almost looked like an installation artwork with... all these, the bridge looked like it does. I mean, it was a bridge that was lit up in panels. It had water underneath it to reflect all the lights that were being used. It was this huge, big, dark warehouse, and they had the two mirrors at either end, and we had to get escorted onto the bridge and off the bridge because it was all surrounded in water.
How did you get onto the bridge?
They had this kind of like platform that was made darker. Like, it was all very dark around the light bridge. And yeah, it was like this kind of wooden stand in the water that we stepped on and off. But yeah, it was challenging, and I was working with Marley Matlin, and that was I mean, what an amazing experience to work with her. With Marley, she had her signer there, her interpreter. So because the set was separate from everything because of the nature of it and the way the camera needed to work, the whole crew was actually quite far away. So it was very isolating, actually, which probably helped us because it's an isolating scene.
Yeah.
We're all alone out there. So.
You're in some other mirror bridge universe.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a huge day for me, especially, and the whole crew were very supportive, and it turned out, it was one of those things I was like, it was worth it.
Yeah, it's such a powerful scene.
Yeah.
Especially the way that it ends.
Totally, and the way it's told, it was such a cool episode when I read it, the 6 short stories about magic, because they all are told from a different character's perspective, which was such a cool idea. And so much to achieve in one episode of TV. And then Marley's story at the end with, that where we don't hear anything, I should say Harriet's story. Yeah. Where we don't hear anything is so powerful and was such a cool risk that the Magicians took. I loved that episode of TV. I thought it was one of the best episodes of the season. Not that I'm being biased.
I mean, it was also, your best episode, I would say.
Totally. Yeah, I would definitely, of all the episodes I did on the show, including some of the stuff I did in season 1, it was definitely my favorite. I just thought it was a very, very detailed, cool episode.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to discuss another show that you're going to be a part of called Reverie.
Yes.
So you're going to be in the pilot, which is airing this week.
That's right. Yes. Wednesday night.
So can you tell us what Reverie is about?
Yeah, so Reverie is a new series coming to NBC on Wednesday the 30th of May, so it's this Wednesday, 9 Central on NBC, if I didn't say that. And it's really cool. I got involved in the pilot of Reverie, so I'm going to be in the first episode when it was shot just over a year ago now. And I had worked with some of the people on that before. Justice Green, one of the producers, who was also part of Bates Motel and The Returned that I was in, both on A&E. Really cool people. Mickey Fisher, the creator, who also made Extant, which has Halle Berry in it and was on CBS. CBS, yeah. Yep. Which I didn't see, but I think was a pretty cool concept as well. And Reverie, it's an interesting mix of a human drama with, I don't want to say it's sci-fi, but I guess it's a futuristic kind of concept in the sense of...
It feels very plausible.
Yeah.
Because it's virtual reality, which is currently something in existence.
Experimenting with, absolutely, yeah.
So it's very possible that this could happen.
Yes. So the concept basically is Reverie is a program that has been invented by an organization. We don't know whether they're good or bad, essentially. And it is something that any person can purchase for a huge amount of money, where your own personal fantasies are created into a virtual reality. I mean, even just saying that sounds amazing. I'm just thinking of all the things that I would have in my Reverie. But basically, everyday people can have their own Reverie created and pay a lot of money for it. But of course, the trick is it is so enticing that people want to stay in their Reveries and they don't want to come out. And that brings the character Mara Kint into it, played by Sarah Shahi, who's incredible. And she was a former hostage negotiator who had a really bad experience where she lost someone and blames herself, and so she left that and basically became a bit of a recluse. I think she's a lecturer at a school and is pulled herself away. She has a bit of a drinking problem. She's kind of trying to get her life back on track after going through this horrible experience, and she is approached by a former colleague from, I think she worked for the CIA or the FBI or something like that. I'm Australian, so I don't always know these things so well. But she is recruited by them to basically use those skills as being a kind of negotiator to go into people's reveries and kind of extract them, convince them to come out. And yeah, that's the concept. So it kind of, I think, as this character begins to do that more and more, she's probably healing things within herself, or making amends in her own way. So that's what I mean about the human story. And Sarah Shahi, certainly in our table read for the series, it was so emotional. There's some really beautiful moments in there. I'm very excited to see it. And I don't know. I know that the creatives at NBC were all in tears during the read. They really resonated with the script, so I hope the audiences do too.
If you could make your own Reverie, what would it be?
Well, you're meant to use real memories, but they're all really enhanced, and you can kind of rewrite them to an extent. Like, I think, I shouldn't give our storyline away, but there are elements of our storyline that were real, and then there are ones that were embellished by the character who's stuck in there. I would say probably some like beach childhood memories in Australia. I'm one of 5 kids, so, you know, being at the beach just with all my family, like those sorts of things. Yeah, definitely. I keep thinking things with water.
You love the beach. You love the beach.
It's true. I just love the water. I don't know if anyone believes in astrology. I'm a Cancer, so I am a water sign as well, and I'm just like obsessed with being near the water. But I also, my hometown Brisbane's not on the coast. It's sort of slightly inland on a river, the Brisbane River. And I did row crew in high school for a year or so, and that was one of my favorite things, being out on the water, rowing, like just, I love it. So, what would yours be?
Oh, I have no idea. Because I'm an indoor person.
Okay, yeah.
So it'd have to be like an indoor memory.
I mean, there's so many amazing things you can think of. Like, I love butterflies too. Like, I would love to be in some kind of like butterfly house with like, I've always imagined, like, I've never done something like that. Or even, I don't know, being like able to be an athlete or something. I'd probably create like a different personality, like identity for myself.
Nice.
As well. But it's a really cool concept, and I'm excited because I've only read the pilot. I'm excited to see what else is created, and certainly I caught up with Mickey Fisher recently, who created it, and it sounded like the rest of the season went super well, and that there's lots of twists and turns, and yeah, it sounds really good. So
it sounds like a very exciting show. It definitely is in my wheelhouse, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Well, you like a good procedural.
I do love a good procedural, and I love sci-fi, so it like works.
Yeah.
It's very much for me.
It is funny with the genre sci-fi, because I get asked a lot, you know, do you really like sci-fi? And I don't even really know what the definition of sci-fi is, but I think Reverie has sci-fi elements to it, but it is set in the current time, pretty much the world as it is, but just that a program has been invented that we don't technically have yet.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't actually know what that definition is.
Well,
I do like sci-fi.
I mean, anything that is science fiction.
Right.
So I think Reverie counts.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's what sci-fi stands for.
Yes, no, you're I mean, now I sound like an idiot. Yes, I guess I just think, because Magicians is fantasy, but it's also kind of sci-fi.
Well, fantasy and sci-fi tend to blend, and then there's a whole question of what's what. It's
something I need to look into more, because I do really enjoy stories that have fantastical elements to them, and I do enjoy science fiction, so I think I need to do a bit more research.
I know that you also love kind of creatures, right? You've got mermaids on Siren, a unicorn.
Yes, that's right. A unicorn in my own film. So I created a film last year. Well, I wrote it technically the year before, but we filmed it last year in Canada, and yeah, I want to say cool. I mean, I wrote it, but I don't.
So it's really the best thing ever written. That's what you wanted to say.
I don't know, like. Yeah, I mean, I love what we've created together, me and the team that's on it. And speaking of Magicians, there's a few people from the Magicians involved. My director directed on that last season, and the director of photography is Ellie Smolkin, who did the first 3 seasons of Magicians. And we just very, very blessed to have a wonderful group of people together on it. It's a short film, so we're sort of using it as a bit of a proof of concept. It didn't start that way, but certainly... because we did a big crowdfunding campaign, and certainly if anyone watching this wants to chat with me about that, please do. It can be such a daunting experience making your own film and crowdfunding and everything, and certainly was for me. But we did this whole campaign, and the more and more people that started to hear about it, people were like, this is such a great idea. Are you just doing a short? Are you going to develop it? And so now we are thinking about a future for it, but essentially it's a short film about a creature that appears in a small, remote town in Canada and kind of turns things upside down for a particular main character in the short. And it's kind of about a human connection between a creature, essentially, and what they can give each other. And yeah, it's exciting. It's certainly an amazing experience to make your own material.
I love that you write and you act and you are a karaoke star.
Oh my god.
I know this for a fact.
Oh my
I have
god.
witnessed.
Why did you not sing that night?
I don't sing.
Oh,
That's
God.
why.
I feel like you would have like this, I don't know, I feel like there's a voice within.
Oh, it sounds like I've got a great singing voice.
Yeah.
But I don't. Turns out. Fun fact.
I don't know, I feel like I should have like forced you up on stage that night.
But I want to hear about other skills that you have. Do you dance? Do you horseback ride? Do you do archery?
Oh my gosh.
Those are just 3 that came to me.
I hate to disappoint, but I definitely don't do any of those things very well. I have done some horse riding. I would love to be good at it, but I'm a learner, like I'm a beginner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love sports and I love being active, but I was a drama kid at high school. I played musical instruments. My parents were very artistic, but those were the things they were interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Visual art, music.
What instruments?
I played the cello for 7 years.
Oh.
Yes, and I played, what else did I play? I played the trombone for a couple of years, which was kind of, I went to a high school that it was one of those ones where everyone did all the activities, you were just like encouraged to do everything that you could, and so you were kind of like selected to do things, and of course my parents were like, yes, she'll do that, yes, she'll do that, and I'm like, but it was great, it was a really cool experience, like, trying to look at music now, I think, this is like another language, how did I know all this stuff as a kid? But anyway, so I did that. I was doing a lot of drama through high school, just taking classes, and I was already pretty sure that was what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I was the media organizer at school, so I did all the videography and stuff. I mean, I sound like a giant nerd.
Which is great. You are in the perfect place to be a giant nerd. I've always, I loved dance. That is one thing that I wish I had studied. I would certainly love to play a dancer, or actually I would love to play an athlete or to learn a sport for a film too. That is a role that I just often do compare athletes to actors in a way in my mind, in the sense of the performance, even just with auditions, like I sometimes look at the waiting room around me in auditions, and I look at people managing their nerves or however they do, and like it's kind of like athletes, I think, they have to focus in and manage what's going on in their bodies to know they can deliver the performance they want. And yeah, so I digress. But I would love to do that. But generally, I mean, I've just learned to surf, so that's something I've been doing. Oh.
As I like the water. I ski. I've learned to do that since spending more time in Canada. And those are kind of my main hobbies. I mean, I love live music. I love doing things with friends. But yeah, if I'm not filming or auditioning or like running around doing a million things like that, I'm usually at the beach or at a lake or something when it's summer. So yeah, that's
so funny. I want to know what your favorite beach activity is. I have a bunch of like silly, stupid questions.
Beach activity.
Beach activity is on there.
I mean, this is gonna sound like I'm such a lazy piece of poo, but I basically if I'm at the beach with waves, then I would definitely say surfing, because that's a relatively new thing for me. And even if I'm just bobbing around on the board out there, I just love it. I love being out there in the water, the waves, everything like that. But if it's a beach that's really calm, I just like blowing up my floaty, like my little floaty boat, and just like lying there. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Preferably with a beer.
I love it. Okay. What is your favorite Aussie slang?
We have a few words. I mean, dag is one that people don't really seem to get. Dag is, like, you dress like a dag, was me last night in Venice at some fancy bar in a sweatshirt with a long cardigan under and cargo pants. And just, like, I was not dressed for the occasion. I looked like a dag. I had no style.
Okay.
Or dodgy, which means if something's dodgy, it is not well made, it's unreliable.
It's the same dodgy that they would use in England.
Do they use that word in England?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dodgy and dag would be two of my favorite Aussie slang words.
I love it. Who would win in a fight, Janine from Siren or Victoria from The Magicians?
Oh my god, they're both kind of tough chicks.
That's right. Who would win?
Oh my gosh. Well, Janine, I feel like Janine would be like tooth and nail. She'd go down, but Victoria's got superpowers, so she's magic.
I guess.
So I'm gonna say Victoria because she's magic, but Janine's definitely a little more ferocious. Victoria, I think, is a little more noble.
I can see Janine breaking a bottle.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
First move, breaking the bottle. Do you love burgers or pizza more?
Burgers.
I knew this. I had a feeling.
Did you? Oh yes, you did.
I did know this.
We shared a burger it was a wonderful moment in our lives. Shake Shack,
yes.
if you're watching.
With Sergio.
With Sergio
yes.
from The Magicians also. It's now a thing. We're going to have to do it every time we get together.
Yes.
Like the three of us.
I'm okay with that.
I'm totally okay with that too.
What is the app that you're most addicted to on your phone?
Oh God. I mean, I've been editing way too many photos recently and I love the app Preview, which is I haven't explored apps too much, so Preview I just like the filters and the kind of like ways. I mean, I actually really like taking photos of like things in the natural world and stuff like that. So I really enjoy that, and I really like. I've actually been starting to listen to more and more podcasts, so I've just been using the podcast app, and yeah, especially Tim Ferriss is the one I've been listening to quite a bit, who is an Aussie, and his stuff is really great.
Wonderful. What is your favorite mythical creature?
I mean, the first one that came to mind is a unicorn, but I think that's because I've become obsessed because I have one in my film, and the film that I made has a unicorn in it, and yeah, I'd say so. I mean, obviously I'm dealing with a lot of mermaids these days, and they're great too, but yeah, something I think I'll go with unicorn.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
That was so quick.
So much coffee. I like tea too, but
okay.
Yeah.
What has been your best Halloween costume? Ooh, hard question.
I mean...
Or dumb question.
I have never looked amazing in Halloween. I always, I don't go to town on my costumes.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's because I feel like I wear costumes all the time for for work, you know. But last year I did go as Pris from Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner. Super cool character. And then I think before that I was Sandra D from Greece.
I love it.
I'd be one of those two, I think.
I love it.
And Carrie. I went as Carrie. That was probably my best one, with like the blood dripping down.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty good costume.
That would probably... I want to see pictures now.
Oh gosh.
Favorite city to live in? Because you've moved a lot, right?
I have lived in quite a few cities. I'm going to say Sydney, Australia. Like, it's expensive and, you know, it's a hustle. Like, it's not New York City, which I love as well, but it's a big bustling city. It's very, it's got a lot of industry there, like different industries, a lot of go-getters, very multicultural. It's an exciting place, but it's a hustle, but it's worth it. It's one of those places that it's worth the hustle because it's so beautiful. There's everything you could want. Like, if you're a beach person, there's beaches. If you're more of like an inner city, like you like more of that New York inner city feel, there's pockets of that everywhere as well. There's mountains not too far away. There's always a festival or something going on. It's very, very cool.
What's your favorite city to visit?
Oh, when you said that, San Francisco came to mind. I do love San Francisco.
I also love San Francisco.
Which is actually where Reverie, where our storyline is set in San Francisco, which is exciting. I don't think the actual show is set in San Francisco, but our virtual reality part, I think, is San Francisco.
Where did you shoot it? Not in San Francisco.
No, we shot in Vancouver, Canada. Which, yes, it was hard to make it look like San Francisco in March, April, where it was pouring rain.
But that sounds just like San Francisco.
I would say favorite city to visit. I mean, I love New York. I do love San Francisco. I've also been to some amazing cities in Brazil, I have to say too. So maybe favorite city to visit. Let's go with San Fran or New York.
Okay. Sunset or sunrise?
Sunset. Nice. I'm never up for sunrise.
And okay, in terms of Siren,
yes.
Where do you stand on the ships? I know that there's the Bryn ship, which is Ben and Rin, and then I don't know what the Ben and Maddie ship is. Is it Maddie?
Oh, so it's more of a Ben and Rin and a Rin and Maddie.
Oh.
So it's a ratty or it's a Bryn.
Bryn. Okay.
And I'm a ratty.
Oh, nice.
I love Ben. I think Alex Rowe is excellent, but you know, I'm on to girl power, so I love the two girls getting together. And also, I feel like Maddie, she like, you know, Ben's been kind of difficult. Like, I think standing up for your girls. So I'm like, you know, go Maddie and Rin.
Wow, I love that you were like, no, that's where I'm at.
I thought about this one.
I'm glad. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
It's good to have you in my bed.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. This is
welcome.
You know, it's as cozy as it looks.
Why don't you tell everyone where you are on the social media?
Yes, if you would like to find me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Hannah Levien. That's my handle, just my name, HANNAHLEVIEN. And if you'd like to find me on Instagram or Facebook, I'm Hannah Levien Official, since I couldn't get my own name.
But those are official.
But
yeah.
that's officially me. And I love to hear from people. It's always great, especially if you like the shows I'm on, or if you are an independent filmmaker, or, you know, just even someone that travels and likes to say hi to other people that are living abroad.
Yeah.
So please reach out.
And Reverie will be out on Wednesday on NBC. Also, Siren will be back for season 2 on Freeform next year.
2019.
And Magicians will be back on Sci-Fi also next year.
Yes, very exciting.
Yay.
Woohoo! Thank you so much.